Greetings to our members and friends of First Baptist Church Piney Grove. We are glad you joined us to find out what's going on at the Grove. We are dedicated to ensuring that we stay connected to you during these challenging times. It is our prayer that you remain safe, healthy, and blessed. Now, let's find out what's going on at the Grove from our pastor, the Reverend Dr. Derek J. Hughes.
Hello, this is Pastor Derek Hughes of First Baptist Church Piney Grove, and this is another version of my podcast. I am asking the membership of First Baptist Church Piney Grove, because of the high, unprecedented spike in the coronavirus cases in Florida, and particularly even in Broward, that we would take 2 weeks and have us stay in shelter. No, the governor is not going to say it. I haven't heard anything from the mayor of Broward. But I want to say to you, as your shepherd, as your pastor, I care enough about you. I want to encourage us together to stay in shelter for 2 weeks, because I don't want to see us continue in this driving up the numbers and people getting sick and people dying. The problem is that many are becoming contracted with the virus, and many are of the ages of 18 to 35, and they are taking the virus to people who have underlying conditions, and they are getting very sick. Let's be careful. I'm asking for 2 weeks. Let's stay at home and stay in shelter. Yes, you got to go to the grocery store, and you have to go to the doctor, and some have to go to work. Do those things you have to do. I do understand. But other than that, I'm asking as your pastor to be safe. Some are asking about, should we wear masks? Yes. Some say, why wear masks? Well, mask has proven to reduce the contraction rate by 50%. Some say, well, it's not my right. I don't want to wear a mask. Well, you don't have to wear a mask for you. Your mask is for others. You say, well, why wear a mask? Because it's reducing the amount of the pathogen to be contracted by others. You might not even know that you have it, and you can pass it on to someone else. You say, well, why wear the mask and why stay 6 feet away? Because 6 feet away as well adds to the slowing down of the contraction of the virus. That is why social distancing, washing your hands, and wearing a mask is important. Remember the 3 W's. Wear a mask, wash your hands, wait, stay at least 6 feet away from people, and wear a mask. Wear a mask, wait, and wash your hands. I want to begin today talking about something that is dear to me. I want to express to you how I feel during these times as a black man. These are some challenging times, yet these are some great times. Great times because in my entire lifetime, I've never seen the move of God as I see today. Of course, we are still living in a global pandemic. And even now, and you'll hear more about it later, we are seeing a resurgence of the numbers spiking again in various states, and particularly in the state that I reside and pastor in Florida. But I wanted to talk about how God is moving at this time as relates to racial justice, and how he is bringing to light so much of racial injustice as it relates to police brutality and just racism in general. For those, either black or white, that say that there is no such thing going on today as systemic racism, I strongly disagree with you. Not only has systemic racism been going on for a long time, it is still in effect today. And not only is systemic racism going on, but there is many individuals who hate other ethnic groups, both black and white. And as a Christian, I must tell you that is not of God. But I want to talk about how I feel as a black man. As a black man, I have lived through times of racial injustices. I've seen it happen. Now, personally, I've not had to experience the hand of police brutality. I've not seen things where I had to run home from school because I was chased by some other race of people. And I use race loosely here because there is only one race, the human race. But I'm using it in terms of denoting ethnicities. But I do understand that just because it didn't happen to me per se does not mean it didn't happen. This system that we live in here in America is a great country, even with its ills and its faults. It still has made into it the opportunity for a few to come through. But I want to remind us that those who come through and who do well in society, for whatever reason, I grew up in a ghetto on the west side of Chicago. I came through a poor, economically depressed neighborhood. But I had both mother and father living there who raised me and my sister. And at the same time, I still saw what the effect of racism had done so much, and it was systemic. It began with, you can see it with education disparities. Though I went to parochial schools, my sister and I saw the result of what others experienced who did not get the opportunity to do so because of certain decisions and certain things that were not done. I saw some of the public schools not give the same quality as other schools. I saw that, and that has a systemic impact on your life. There are those who come through it, yes, but many fall by the wayside. That's how it's designed. When you think about who gets some of the better education, it has to do with systemic issues relating to where you live. If you live in a lower economic area, your tax dollars go to pay for your schools. And if you don't have the kind of property value that other areas have, you have less dollars to go to your schools. Systemic. Economics. We always have been coming through from the times of slavery and Jim Crow and other issues. We've experienced that. Yes, I made it out, but so many did not have that opportunity. And as I said recently, unless we all are delivered, we are still entrapped. And I want you to know I felt it. I felt it on the job. I felt it even at schools. I felt it. I saw it. I experienced it. And yet, the God that I came to know as Lord and Savior propelled me to keep going. And I want to offer that to everyone. Is there an excuse? No. Who should we blame? No one to blame. But the reality is the reality. It exists then and it exists today. I have a problem with those who act as if this is no longer the course of life. This is not a reality, both black or white. But there are many white brothers and sisters who do understand. Some of them did not experience what it means and feels to be a black person in America. They were just living. Some of them just ignorant to our experience. Some of them have good intent and want now to see parity happen. And I am praising God for that. The discussions that we're having today, to this degree, has never happened previously. And I am so grateful for that. Praise the Lord for that. But I want us to understand it happens, it's real. And as a black man, as a black pastor, as a black father, I want to see this world in which we live move forward. We must continue these tough discussions. We must continue liberating even people who have been oppressed and depressed because of the systemic issues that affect generations of people. Poor education gives you an opportunity to have lower paying jobs. Lower paying jobs gives you the opportunity to live in lower residences. Lower residences continue the whole cyclical effect of systemic issues, systematic issues of the cycle continuing again. And when you have less opportunities to do well, the opportunities to make bad decisions are there. Let's remember, these things affect us all. It is the reality of how and where we live. We continue. Remember this, that we are moving ahead in a new time. This, my brothers and sisters, is a new time. And I am grateful to God. But what must we do to help us, to help those who have been rejected, depressed, oppressed? There are things that we can do to help ourselves. And I'm tired of blaming anybody. We should not blame anybody for the issues we are facing. We should understand that we can do things like Black economic growth, and Black support, and taking care and raising ourselves as some did in the past. Liberation of the people who've been oppressed, whether it's Black, brown skin, yellow, it doesn't matter, or even white. Take care of your own. Develop ourselves. It's time for us to develop our own and support our own so that we can move together in strength economically. And I want us to do that, and also let us not forget our vote. Our vote is powerful. Here in Broward, I'm suggesting and advocating that we request the absentee ballots so that we can have our voting done in this time of global pandemic, of many who will not be able to vote at the polls and who are afraid of going out because of the virus. Let's request right now, stop what you're doing and get you an absentee ballot request so that you can vote absentee as well. Don't wait to wait in line. Don't wait to the discouragement of having things shut down and being deprived. Let's make sure we understand what's going on. There are people that are still stuck, and I want to talk about some of these issues. Recently I was reading about Crystal Kaiser. Crystal Kaiser is now facing charges of murder. Now she's 17 years old, but she killed the person who was abusing her via sex trafficking. And yet she's being held for murder. Let's keep Crystal Kaiser on our radar and pay attention to her case. Breonna Taylor, she was killed by a no-knock warrant. Police officers going into her home and shot 8 times. The police officer who discharged 10 rounds in her home and having hit her 8 times is fired, but no charges, no justice yet. Let's continue to move and keep the noise going for Breonna Taylor. Let's also remember that even as Blacks have been at the hands of police brutality, let's not forget that many of our Hispanic brothers as well have had to deal with police brutality. In fact, recently stats show that 30% of the U.S. police shootings, Blacks have been at the hand of 30% of police brutality and police shootings, rather. And Hispanics, 22%. Whites, 12%. When you think about the reverse level of how many are in this country, when it relates to the minorities, minorities mean Black and brown skinned people, but yet we are in the higher issues with some of the ills of society. Why is that? Why is that? When you say there is no systemic racism. And as I said, America is a great country. But America was found on white supremacy and white superiority. I know that we think about these monuments that are being taken down, and there's great debate going on right now as it relates to them. You say, well, it's about heritage, but it's heritage versus hate. Southern culture, you say, but it's Southern culture versus code words of the Southern supremacy of racial disparaging. I lived in Memphis for 5 years, and there's a monument in Nashville of Nathan Bedford Forrest. Now, this monument in Nashville, Tennessee, of Nathan Bedford Forrest, who was he? He was a slave trader. He was the original Grand Wizard of the KKK, and he made a fortune in the slave trade. But he led a Confederate massacre of both black and white Union soldiers. Now he has a monument. What did he do? Many of these monuments that have gone up have just been about the people who've led anti-issues as it relates to fairness and equality for people. It promoted, again, white supremacy. When you think about some of these monuments, there was 2 major periods in which they were erected. In fact, there was during the time of 1800, the end of that, and between 1921. What happened as relates to those times when these monuments were going up? Well, in Tulsa, in 1921, while that was going up, there were a place in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, where there was a riot that took place that burned down Black Wall Street, and nearly 300 people were killed. In 1876, there were some, and this is after Reconstruction, some 125,000 blacks who were registered to vote. But then when the president at the time withdrew soldiers in the South, that number went down from 125,000 blacks who were registered to vote in 1878, just 2 years later, 5,000 blacks who were registered to vote. Why? Because they didn't have protection. In fact, it was Theodore Bilbo in 1947, somewhere in that time, and actually between that time and 1968, he was a U.S. Senator, and he used these words: I call every red-blooded white man to keep, and he used the word niggers away from the polls. Again, you ask, is this sustainable? In fact, it was not until 1972 that the Confederate flag saw another resurgence. It was led by Strom Thurmond. He brought it back. And in 1963, prior to that, he said, segregation today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. That was said by Bull Connor as well. And that was during a time when those 4 little girls were bombed in that church. I'm saying to you, brothers and sisters, we are on the cusp of something great. No, taking monuments down won't cure the problem. But I'll tell you this, it's a start to understand the history and the dialogue that we must have. That we can't celebrate icons of slavery and racism and white supremacy. You say it's history. We'll put them in a museum. But the ideal of having equality for all is uncomfortable, but it's a discussion that must take place. And I want you to know that I believe God is still moving at this time. All right, what's happening at the Grove? Don't forget, Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m., there is a prayer call. The number is 712-451-0444, and the access code is 757400. This call is open to anyone in the country, and I adjure you, I invite you to be a part of the prayer call. Again, 6 a.m. 6 p.m. Monday through Friday is when we come together and pray. We need to pray. Let us not forget our millennial Bible study. If you're between the ages of 20 and 39, you can go and email us at fbcpgyams@gmail.com to get the Zoom link and be a part of the millennial Bible study. Let's also remember our small groups. Small groups are meeting now, and I want to encourage every member. If you're not part of a small group right now, would you do me this favor? And I'm asking you as pastor, let's do this. Let's get together. Let's get on the small groups. Here's what you need to do. You can go online at our church website and you can fill out a form to get involved in small groups. You will be contacted with the link and be a part of the small groups. You just put your birthday in, your name, etc., and your contact information according to the form, and we will contact you so that you can be a part of this time of getting together and staying connected. We have virtual Bible study every Wednesday at 7 p.m. It's live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and on our church's website. And you can also watch via the church app. So you can be involved in the studying of God's Word each Wednesday at 7 p.m. All right. Also, our worship service happens every Sunday morning. We're still in virtual worship. You can watch us on our various platforms. Again, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, the church app, the church website. Or now, if you're not tech savvy, here's what you can do. You can call 516-259-9495 and be a part of the worship experience. Again, 516-259-9495. Every day, Monday through Friday, 11 through 1, here at Piney Grove, we're passing out breakfast and lunch for school-age children. Every Monday through Friday from 11 to 1, you can come by the church and pick up breakfast and lunch free at the church. To support our ministry, and I need you to support our ministry as we continue to do work, as we continue to support the cause of Christ, please, ma'am and please, sir, continue to support. If you haven't supported our church, if you even are not a member of our church, but you believe in what we're doing and you want to support our work, I'm asking you to text your giving to 77977. You can text that. In the memo section, type Piney Grove, no space, PINEYGROVE, and press send. They'll send you a link to follow so that you can give via the text your tithes. Or you can drop it off every Saturday morning from 9 until 12 every Saturday morning. Now, next week, because of the 4th of July, there will be a drop off your offering on Thursday and Friday. So make sure you can do that next Thursday and Friday from 9 to 12, Thursday and Friday. Drop off your offering at the church as we get ready for the first Sunday. You can also pick up your Lord's Supper. We always have a great time. I want you to be a part of it. Or you can mail in your offering to 4699 West Oakland Park Boulevard, Lauderdale Lakes, Florida, 33313. Thank you so much for supporting the work. Let's not forget, if you know of any children and youth, our children and youth worship takes place every Thursday at 7 o'clock. Children and youth worship every Thursday, 7 o'clock. It's on our Facebook Live and on YouTube Live. And I want to encourage you to get children and youth, whether they are members or not, to watch our children and youth worship experience. Next Tuesday at 8 o'clock, you do not want to miss a virtual concert that we're having. It is going to be wonderful. Please, ma'am, and please, sir, invite a free concert via live stream. You don't want to miss it. Next Tuesday, June 30th, 8 o'clock. Don't miss it. It's going to be wonderful. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast. I'll see you next time.